everyone to another episode of Ohio DD Talks. I am your host, Marcy Strouder, and I want to introduce you to my co-host, Sherry Cooper. You ready to bring on the flavor and the sizzle, Sherry?
Yes, I am, Marcy. Are you ready?
Yes, let's get this party started.
Okay.
In today's episode, we welcome Cara Whalen Smith, Project Director of Ohio State University Medical Center, who is joining us to discuss new events around the inclusive sports to youth with disability. OSUMC's Government Resources Center just released a survey to understand what inclusive sports looks like for Ohio's youth with disabilities and why this inclusive is important and what they are learning. Welcome, Cara.
Thanks, Marcy. Glad to be here.
All righty. Before we get started, could you tell us a little about your role of OSUMC and the grant you are working on? What motivated this project?
Yes, I'm happy to, Marcy. So first, for accessibility notes on myself, I'm a middle-aged white woman with brown hair and glasses, and I speak with a Midwestern accent, and I do not currently identify as a person with a disability, and I have many family members, friends, and coworkers who are people with disabilities. So I'm a public health physical therapist by training, and I am currently a project director at the Ohio Colleges of Medicine Government Resource Center at The Ohio State University, where I direct projects that work to improve health equity and full community inclusion for Ohioans with disabilities. And I worked in the clinic for many years with youth with intellectual and developmental disabilities as a physical therapist. And I also taught an adaptive and inclusive dance class for children with and without disabilities. And I'm also a team member of the Ohio Disability and Health Partnership. And so I'm currently the director of the Inclusive Sports Project, which is funded by the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council. And the purpose of this Inclusive Sports Project is to expand inclusive sports and dance opportunities to promote equitable access to physical activity and other recreational opportunities for youth with disabilities in our Ohio schools. And what motivated my interest in this project is my background as a public health physical therapist and a ballet dancer. I believe that every person should have access to the sport, dance, and physical activities that they want to participate in. And this project will help to remove barriers and expand that access to Ohio youth with disabilities.
Okay, Kim, I have the next question, but I would just like to welcome you as well. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Sherry.
And my question to you is, you all just released a survey to learn about what sport programs are looking like for you with disabilities. What are you hoping to learn from this project?
Yes, that's right, Sherry. So in the first year of this project, we are doing a needs assessment that includes the survey to understand the current needs, gaps, and assets. So what's working well for inclusive sports opportunities for Ohio youth with disabilities that will then inform the training that we will develop for school professionals in the second year of this project. So as part of this needs assessment, we're doing a statewide survey for youth with disabilities, for their parents and caregivers, and for school professionals. And we are also doing key informant interviews with several organizations and professionals who are involved in schools and involved in inclusive and adaptive sports across Ohio. And we are also doing listening sessions with athletes with disabilities and with their parents and caregivers. And we're also using the hashtags, #LetUsPlay and #Ohio Inclusive Sports on social media, where we can where people can share their stories with us about their experiences with sports in Ohio. And from this needs assessment, we hope to learn what is currently going on with inclusive sports in Ohio, what are the current resources that are working well for inclusive sports, and where those resources currently exist, what's working really well in general, and also what are the barriers to participating in inclusive sports and dance opportunities, so we can plan a training that helps to remove those barriers and connect people to the resources that already exist, and also create resources in areas where there may currently be none for inclusive sports.
Yeah, I think that is so cool because I'm looking back as I was a kid. If I could have been a ballerina, oh my God, how cool would that have been? A ballerina, because all my other friends were doing sports and dance.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 80s, there was nothing for me to really do. So I think this is so cool.
Thanks, Sherry. Yeah, and there are things that do exist right now, and I think that there's a lot of things that people just aren't aware of. Like, for example, in Cleveland, Ohio, there's a dance company called Dancing Wheels that is an inclusive dance company that does a lot of education in schools and offers training for anyone who wants to become a dancer and join their company. So we just want to get the word out there with this project of what exists and help fill in the gaps of what doesn't exist in certain areas in the state.
That is awesome. My other question to you is, this is a part of a 4-year grant. So what is the goal of the initiative in the 4 years?
Yes, so that's right. We've been funded by the DD Council for 4 years. So over those 4 years, we will do a needs assessment, develop a training, test that training, and then spread the training across Ohio. And to do all this, we are working in collaboration with an advisory committee of athletes with disabilities, family members of individuals with disabilities, and disability advocates with expertise in inclusive sports and universal design to help us plan the assessment that we're doing right now. And then in year 2, take all that we learn from our needs assessment and work with that advisory committee and other partners that we formed through this assessment to develop an inclusive sports training that includes sharing the tools and resources that we find and creating maybe new tools and resources that don't currently exist, to then test in Ohio schools that focuses on removing barriers for youth with intellectual and developmental disabilities to participate in school sports and physical activity opportunities alongside their peers. Then in the 3rd year of this project, we will test that training that we create, and it'll be tested in Athens County which is one of our Appalachian counties in Ohio, working in partnership with the Athens County Creating Healthy Communities program. And then we will make changes based on that testing from what we learn in Athens County. And then in the fourth year of the project, spread that training to other areas of Ohio with a focus on rural and Appalachian counties where we know there's typically the least amount of resources in those counties.
Sounds great. Thank you. Marcy, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Sherry. Okay, why is learning about and building more inclusive sports programs important for youth with and without disabilities?
Yeah, so I think it's important for youth with disabilities, no matter where they live, to have equitable access to sport, dance, and other types of physical activities where they can be included alongside their peers without disabilities. Having access to those sports, dance, and other physical activities is good to improve overall health, mental health, physical fitness, and decreasing the risk of chronic disease. And it's also good for the community. And it's good for social connections when we are being inclusive and not segregating our youth, and hopefully will lead to reducing ableism in our communities. So we're excited to use this project as an opportunity to build on capacity that already exists, connect communities and families to the excellent resources that already exist across the state, and then to help fill in any gaps in areas of the state, particularly our rural communities where there are fewer resources and where there may be need for more education and training in some school districts. And I really hope that this project can help contribute to a positive cultural shift in our communities around attitudes about youth with disabilities and knowledge on how to be inclusive and how to universally design physical activity opportunities for youth, and then to hopefully have a ripple effect to reduce ableism in our communities from inclusion just happening in our schools and our communities from an early age as we all grow into adulthood.
All right, thank you. I have another question for you. What have you learned so far from the survey results coming in?
Yeah, so I will say it's still a little too early to share results from our survey and overall assessment, but a couple of things that are standing out to us are that people want more access to inclusive sports in Ohio. There is clearly a need for more education around this topic in our school systems, from both the school side and the parent side on what exists. And there are many excellent resources that do exist that either people do not know about or they simply do not live close to and they need to drive hours away to get to.
Sherry, you can bring on the flavor.
Okay, so my last question to you is, what areas of Ohio do you want to hear more from?
Yeah, so we've already had a really great response to our survey so far, and we have been hearing from all areas of the state. We want to continue to hear from everybody. So youth with disabilities who want to participate in sports or dance, athletes with disabilities already participating, parents and caregivers, and school professionals. But right now we want to have more responses from youth athletes with disabilities and those living in rural areas to really share their experiences with us. And they can do that by going to go.osu.edu/inclusive sports, or posting their story on social media using the hashtags #LetUsPlay and #OhioInclusiveSports. We planned to close our survey on May 31st, but we will keep it open until June 30th to give people more time to participate and share their stories with us. And I will be sure to give you the link in those hashtags so you can post alongside on the website with this podcast.
Yeah, if I could just follow up, what sport are you looking at? Or what sport are generating or dance? What out of what all of them, what one are generating the more conversation?
That's a good question. I think in general, we're finding people who are either interested in playing or already do play a wide variety of sports and dance. I think on our survey, there's maybe a list of 10 to 20 options and then an open-ended, and we're seeing all of those different types of sports. But one thing in our listening sessions that we're hearing a lot of good things about in areas of Ohio that tends to be more inclusive is track and field and swimming.
Okay. I know in my area of Dayton, we have a inclusive soccer
Mm-hmm. That's great.
and it's for the youth. They get a lot of media play, so I think that's cool.
That's great.
Marcy, I'll pass it back over to you.
Yeah, Sherry, like what Sherry was saying in her county about the swimming and things like that, I live in Franklin County, and we have a school called West Central, and it's for kids. And the kids, they swim in there and stuff, but sometimes people like that are in the swimming team in Special Olympics go there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've certainly been hearing things like that too through our survey and our listening sessions.
Do you ever go to like the summer games at OSU?
Yeah, we actually will be at the games. I think it's June 24th that our team will be there with flyers about our survey with a QR code that people can hold their phone up to instantly link them to the survey and to take the survey if they wish while they're at the games. So any athletes at the games or parents or school professionals who happen to be there are welcome to take the survey then.
Do you work with any of the county boards?
Yeah, we have all of the county boards on our mailing list. So it has been distributed through them. And we have other contacts through the Ohio State Nysonger Center who work really closely with all the county boards, and they've been spreading the word to them as well.
I know some of my friends, they've went out of state for Special Olympics. Do you ever go with people like out of state and watch them compete for state games and stuff?
I've not had the opportunity to do that. That's a great idea though. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's I don't really play the sport, but I have friends that tell me all about it and how all the games go and stuff, and how they have like cheerleading and things like that. And my friends tell me about it and how cool it is.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think what you're doing is a real good thing, and I think you're helping a lot of people out.
So do I, Marcy. So do I. I'm not much in the sport, but I can't wait to see the dance competition. I just can't wait. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, we're really excited. We're very grateful to the DD Council for prioritizing this as an issue and releasing the grant opportunity and supporting this project. It's a wonderful project.
Do you ever work with the dance teams like at the OSU theater?
I have not, but we should definitely get connected to them.
Yeah, it was like a month or two ago, I went to the dance show that they had there. It was pretty cool.
That's great. Was it inclusive?
I don't know what it was. It was a thing that we got from me and my provider. We got it from the library and got free tickets.
Oh, great. We'll have to look into that.
Well,
so if you have like things and you want to give them out and spread it to the community, you should try the library and give out like tickets and brochures there. People will come.
Great idea.
Well, Marcy, that's all I have. Do you have anything else for Cara?
Well, Cara, thanks for coming on the show and talking to us about the sports. We really appreciate it, don't we, Sherry?
Yes, we do. Thank you a lot, Cara. We can't wait to see what becomes of this. I think it's going to be big things. Can't wait to see.
All right. Thanks for stirring up the flavor for y'all, and always stir it up and keep it cooking. We'll see y'all next time on Ohio DD Talks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.